Hello, welcome back to Night Raven Show. I'm James J. Booksmart, and today we're doing my March wrap-up where I read 40-something books. 23 books, 22 books, 24, I don't know. Something along those lines. In that range. I am very excited because you don't know, my wrap-up this year, and just in general, like what I've been doing, is I've been making tiny books to do wrap-ups with. Also these tiny books in seasonal favorite videos and those type of things, just because I think it's kind of cute and fun, and I like the idea of it. That also being said, there are like 2 or 3 books that I have not been able to make into a small book, but the video must go forward, which means I'm just not going to talk about those books. They will be popping up in a reading vlog coming to you this month, so you'll still get to hear about them, just not in the wrap-up. It is what it is. Alright, that being said, let's go ahead and get started. There's 20-something books in here, so we got a bit of ways to go. If you guys did not know, I randomly pick it. There's really no reason to it. It just makes it a funny game. Also, like, you know, yeah, no, I just find it fun. Oh my god. Okay. Let's talk about it. So I read Skyfall Elephants by Sybil Campbell. Skyfall Elephants follows a post-apocalyptic world, one would declare a utopia in certain scapes of things, where every white person in the world, or at least in America, kills himself. And it's like if every white person died, what would America look like, and what would Black America look like? And I fucking adore this novel. This was a 5-star read. I loved everything about it. I loved the complexities. I liked the fact that it just made me think over, like, there's so many things I thought about while reading this book, and it had so many great conversations with friends where I'm like, oh my god, this just happened, let me talk you through it, because I feel like I need someone else to talk about it with. This is like one of the best books for like a book club, so if you're doing a book club, it does obviously cover some very triggering topics. It does cover a lot of really interesting topics that could mount to a bigger and wider and possibly controversial discussion. You knew that going into it, and I've talked a lot about it, especially in the reading vlog where I read it in, about why I think those conversations are important nonetheless. That being said, I gave it a 5 and would recommend it quite a bit. I really liked it. Like a lot. Okay. I'm gonna go with this one. Oh my gosh, I was really hoping this would be like towards the very bottom, because this is the Tempest. Oh, I remember it now. The Tempest Cup by Robert something Johnson, something along those lines, is what the book is. This is a Sherlock Holmes type murder mystery where we have a son and his mom, and the mom is like a Sherlock Holmes, and they're solving a crime, and they have to travel. I did not like it. I gave it a 3. Objectively, I thought like some of the writing was quite good, but a lot of it I didn't care for, and I would have a hard time recommending it. However, I would recommend it because everybody loves it. Okay, it's just, it might be a me thing. I don't know. I do have another Robert, the author, I have another one where it's like a heist sci-fi cyberpunk novel, which I am really excited to read eventually, so I'm still giving them no chance. A 1-3 is not gonna cause me chaos. Alright, so we have The Unworthy by Augusta Berserker. This is from the same author who wrote Tender as the Flesh, which is a very, very horrifying and disturbing and very hard to read novel. And I'm not gonna, okay, it's so interesting, because like Tender as the Flesh is all about like humans as like animals, whereas this one, it's about religion and like a cult of a religion and things, and it's very strong in its themes, but like I didn't find it nearly as disturbing. There's a lot of disturbing things that happen in here, really graphic, violent, uncomfortable, wouldn't recommend it to a lot of people, disturbing things. However, I found this to be way more tame. Also, there was like this light and hopefulness throughout the whole thing, which I can't describe to you. I don't know how to describe it to you. I gave it a 3, a 3.75, a 3.5. Somewhere around there. I recommend it if you enjoyed Tender as the Flesh. If you thought that was good and you're like, oh, I want to read more of that. Also, I don't want to give any spoilers away, but it is kind of gay. That's all. Okay. Give me another good one. That was a good one. I liked reading that. It was really short and quick. Oh, I don't remember this. This is Midday Moon. All I know... Oh, let me get up close. All I know, it's a BL manga. It's adult, very graphic, 18 plus, and that's all I really remember is the 18 plus stuff because it caught me off guard because I thought it was teen. About these two people, I think, longing for one another. I said, I'm really bad in that area of things. Like when my brain just like forgets it, it just forgets it. That was like a 2.5, so it wasn't in there long. Hard hitting. I'm reading a lot of hard hitting literature though, to be fair. This is One Day Everyone Will Have Always Been against this. This is by Omar B. Nada, I think is what it is. This is about the Gaza-Palestinian war, or genocide war. I don't know, that's a horrible way to describe that. It's a genocide going on from the Israel, and it's all about that, and it's all about, there's a lot of references and things to other events that are not just talking about this. It's also slightly a memoir based on this person's life and how it's directly affecting them. My perfect type of nonfiction, which I would recommend highly, is a 5-star. I love a memoir slash like full-on info dumping with stats and whole 9 yards, and this book has it all, and I think it was beautifully written, and once again proposes an amazing conversation that should be happening, because once again, the world thinks Israel is right, or I should say, a lot of people in the government and in Hollywood think it's right. I don't really know why. I can't put my finger on it, but they're really against us saying it's not. Whereas you can obviously see a genocide going on currently. And if you go backwards in time and you're looking at like Hitler and the genocide that happened to the Jews in Germany with the Holocaust, it's a very similar situation where a lot of people did not want to talk about it, where a lot of people just ignored the fact it was going on until you couldn't ignore it anymore. And I don't know when we're going to reach the point here, but eventually we're going to reach a point where we're like, dude, you fucking murdered. Like, we hit the point. Moral story, it's a 5-star. It's a beautiful nonfiction. I'd recommend it, especially if you want some context and to learn a bit more about what's going on. I think it was a great read. It is new. So, there's that. Oh my god, I just read this. This was great too. This was a 4-star read. 4.75. This is Whatever Brighthaven by M.L. Wong. I have never read, or that's not right. Yeah, no, that's right. I've never read an ML Long before. I've never read anything like this before. I'm gonna be honest with you. This is my favorite Magic system I've ever read in my life. So it's a 5. Like it's so close to being a 5. I didn't think the ending was fully satisfactory. I don't think it fully hit me over the head the way I wanted it to. So like I couldn't give it a 5, but it's as close as humanly possible as you can without actually being a 5. I fucking adored this novel. It was beautiful. This is about a girl. She lives in a society where women are cast down upon. They are just made for housewives. And she wants to become a mage. And every 10 years, they allow one mage up into the ranks. And she gets invited up due to rolls of tests and stuff. She is tasked, Water Mage is tasked with building a bigger barrier because of light that's going on. So much more complicated stuff going on. I loved it. It has a lot to do with politics, has a lot to do with gender, has a lot to do with misogyny and racism. It also has quite a bit to do with mapping and like really detailed science magic work, which I think is so cool. Oh my fucking god, it's so cool. I love it so much. And it's so powerful, and it was so beautifully written. And it's a full-length fantasy novel in one book, so you don't even have to read a series for it, which is also beautiful. And I can't remember why it popped up in my life, but I'm not mad. Quite a few of those books. Oh, I read A Single Story from Dreamsong Volume 1 by George R. R. Martin. Yeah, George R. R. Martin, who is the, obviously, creator of Game of Thrones. I'll quickly talk about it's the story that I read is In the Lost Lands. I watched the movie. I have a video coming out. I forgot about the video. I'll put it on the schedule. I have a video coming out next month where I picked 5 titles. Well, I saw 5 movies that have adaptations. I read the books to the adaptations and then did a comparison. A video coming to you relatively soon. And one of those was In the Lost Lands. Objectively, I think I gave the short story like a 4.5, 4.25. I really liked it. Grey Alice goes on a journey in the Lost Lands with Boyce. That's all you really need to know. Yep. Okay, so there's a few of these, like I said. So another one I read that was similar to that was Levon Straits by Chuck Dixon. Levon Straits got made into an adaptation called A Working Man, which just came out this past weekend, but with Jason Statham. This is the novel it's based on. This is a novel that I'm not going to describe it the way I described it when I talked about it, because I have a feeling people are not going to like the way I talked about it in that initial video and or the video or the reading vlog. I'm just gonna say that it is a one-man's gun show, okay? That means you have a single man killing everybody, which is fun and cute and all, and I don't mind it. I really don't mind it at all. That's not a problem. But it's very heavily in aspects I don't like. There's also some language here that I'm still not okay with being used in novels. And that's all I'll say on it. This is about a man. He is tasked with finding a daughter who goes missing, and she is being sold through sex trafficking, and he is going and hunting down the entire Russian mob. Oh, We Could Be Magic by Marissa Meyer. This is coming out, I think, in April. So it's coming out this month. April or June, somewhere around. I don't know. April, I think is what it is. It's another one that I was like really mixed on. I gave it a 3. It's somewhere in there in the 3 range. It doesn't speak in my brain highly, so I think we're on the lower end of the spectrum here. It's about 2 friends who get together and it's their love story. I didn't like it. There's elements of it. Why? Marissa Meyer is a very talented author. Maybe she just was for me at the time that I found her, and now she's not. I think that's where I'm at. Because I was like, this was not Marissa Meyer that I knew and loved. But that's fine. We have God Killer by Hannah Conter. This is the first book in the God Killer series. This follows a God Killer, a knight, and the person who has a god, it's a lying god, as they go on this journey to find the lying god's thing so they can separate between the two people. And there's a lot of other stuff going on, and it's very complex, and it ends in a beautiful way. I gave it a 4.25. I really liked it. I'm very excited to read the sequels eventually. The 3rd book I think comes out in April, or maybe it came out in March, I can't remember. And I'm excited. I originally was going to propose it as a series video where I was going to read all 3 and review them. However, I have found I'm very hard to talk about fantasy in like a very long explanation way, so I got past. I do plan on reading the entire series this year at some point, but yeah, I would recommend. I thought it was quite good. I can understand why there are 3 of them, and I'm highly intrigued to see what happens. Okay. Oh, Mickey 7 got adapted into Mickey 17, a movie no one saw. The novel is different. It's different. This is by Everett Ashton. We live in a world where you can create human clones, and the reason why they've created human clones is only one person gets cloned. They're trying to save humanity. They're going to a different planet, and they need someone who can die over and over again to test the air, the oxygen, poisons, if there's a virus, bonds, pathogens, whole 9 yards. And so this dude named Mickey ends up setting up for it due to a last case scenario, and we're following him as he's experiencing and dealing with the consequences of this action. Plus, at one point, the beginning of the novel, he is left for dead, and he doesn't end up dying, and there's a Mickey 8 that comes in, and you cannot have duplicates. And like I said, it was adapted into a movie with Robert Pattinson. I landed on a 3 something. I would say this is like a 3.5, if I remember correctly. Maybe a 3.25? Also will be in that adaptation video coming out in April. Nick Blake and the Remarkables, The Manifestation of Prophecy, is another 5-star read. This is by Angie Thomas, who wrote The Beautiful, The Hate You Give. She also wrote Concrete Rose and On the Come Up, one of my personal favorite books of all time. And now she wrote a fucking phenomenal, oh my god, kids novel. Middle grade. It's not for kids. I'd say anywhere between 10 and 14 can read it and be fine. Obviously, anybody above that can also read it, but I would say below that, you might run into some questions. This follows Nick as she is discovered to have her father has kidnapped her, changed her name, and she has a twin brother. And they end up getting into a conspiracy, and they end up having to save the day, or try to save the day. It's a great novel. I gave it a 5. I would highly recommend it. Highly, highly recommend it. I'm so excited for the sequel when it does come out later on this year. I think in like August or something. I will be there. I thought the world was so beautiful. Also, it's like really reminiscent of like Harry Potter, but like in a better way. And so it's another book series I can recommend being like, oh, you want to read Harry Potter, but it's from a transphobe who really fucking hates people and who should like lose a whole platform. Well, here you go. Read this instead. Yeah. I'm sure that's going to piss people off. I don't care about that, though. You can get pissed off. I don't care. I read Alita Battle Angel Volume 1. I didn't care for it. I gave it a 2. This is about ironically, another, like, human clone type of thing. She's an android. She is growing up in a world full of androids, and she is built, and it's about her experiencing her life. I gave it, like, a 2.5. Was not my favorite experience of the month. Going back into it. Ooh, we have Parasite, which I really liked. I thought Parasite was so fun and funny. I gave it a 4. I think it was a solid 4 as well. This follows a man. Aliens come down and they affect a lot of people and they kill a lot of people. It's a whole thing. Very graphic. I was so shocked by it, but I had such a good time. And in this parasite ends up going into his arm, but he ends up like cutting it off so he can't get to his brain, and so he just has control of his arm. And it's a very funny duo, and they have a lot of fun, and it's a good time. We're almost there. Wise Guys, which says The Life in a Mafia Family by Nicholas Paghetti, is a nonfiction of the most famous mafia story you can think of. You know a mafia story? I promise you it's based off this book, if it's adapted fiction-wise. Goodfellas, Whole Nine Yards, the Mafia video game series, they're all based off of this book. They're all based off of this story and this thing. There was a movie called The Alton Knights that came out this year, or this month, and it was slightly adapted from this, is all I will say. I gave the book itself, like, it was like a 4 point... no, actually, I think it was just like 4. I really liked it. I found parts of the ending kind of repetitive and boring, but outside of that, I really, really enjoyed, like, everything. But here's the thing, because this book is old, like from the 60s, or 70s or something like that. The story itself has been adapted so many times that nothing in here I didn't know or was surprising because of the fact that it's a really well-known, like, copy and paste for a mafia story. Moving on. Next one. We have Disappointment. Alright, and that is the Mortal Instruments Volume 1. I will continue to read the graphic novel version of my favorite book series of all time because it's my favorite book series of all time. However, I really hate the artwork, like, with a passion. I think it looks horrible. Okay, so I gave it a 3. This adapts probably like the first 45... No, hold on, the first half of the first book? I want to say. And it's just all called the Mortal Instruments. That way to make it easier so they can adapt all 6 books without being like, this is City of Bones, and this, you know, type of thing. It's also not drawn in a manga stance like the Infernal Devices are. It's drawn in like a normal graphic novel stance. However, it looks like it was never completed. And we're getting like the live sketches. I thought it was an interesting choice. Okay. We have Keen's Cage. I can tell you the rating of this. I don't remember. 3.75, I want to say. This is the 3rd book in the Red Queen series, and I was supposed to be done with it by now. I am not. This book disappointed me in a lot of ways. We have taken a little break from this series, but don't worry, I'm coming back. I will be reading the final book this month. And you should see my whole entire review series for that video as well this month. I don't have a lot to say on it. I've told you many of a time. It's just the honest truth. It was just not a good one, but I'm committed. You know what I mean? Then we have Hours by Philip P. Williams. I read a book by a narrator. I think it was the Nick Blake one. I was like, oh, I really like this narrator. Let's go get some other books. And I found Hours. This is set back in the 1900s where a woman makes a home for slaves. She's a black woman, and it's this world called Hours where no one can find it unless you are black. She goes through it and she frees a bunch of slaves and takes them back here so they can live a peaceful and happy life, and we're going through decades. I mean, I think this book, I think it was like 100 years or something that we crossed the span with, and it was beautiful. There were elements of it that I didn't fully love, but the writing is really good. I think it's either a 3.75 or a 4, I cannot remember, and I'd never heard it before. I don't think many people have based on the Goodreads ratings and stuff, so I would recommend it. It is an epic. It's like 700 pages. It is a commitment, but I really liked what I read from it. We have 3 left, my guys. I'm just going to pull them all out, and this one, which is The Blonde Dies First by, who are we by? Joel Wellington. This is an author I read in a short story collection like 2 years ago, but I've been looking forward to reading this one in particular. I thought this was a straight slasher. It's not. It's a supernatural slasher. Essentially, these people go to a party and they do a little seance, and then, you know, they get hunted by a demon, and it's very bad for them. It's a fun time. It's a cute little romp. I gave it like a 3.5, a 3.75, and would recommend it broadly. I felt like the characters were quite good. It's very diverse. There's a lot of clear representation in it. There's a lot of body positive representation. It also follows twins at the forefront. I just feel like, or I guess it's more like sisters at the forefront. I feel like a lot of people would have a good time. Also, the characters are so well-rounded and so beautifully done that, like, I couldn't recommend it. I could not recommend it. But yeah, we'll save that, my first book I read this month, for last. And we'll talk about Will You Just Die? Or Can You Just Die, My Darling? This is a manga, an adult manga, where a guy has his crush on this girl. He ends up getting past a crazy disease, where now every time he sees this girl, he wants to murder her. It goes really far, is all I will say. I didn't love it. I gave it like a 2.75 or something, or those lines. Speaking of a book I did not like, we're here with Nameless Things by Ernest Jensen. This is like the watered down version of The Troop. I was really enjoying it by the middle of the book because it has a gay lead that doesn't reveal that he's gay until like halfway through the novel. I don't recommend this book, so I don't care telling you that. I know that's bad, but also like I think it's in the tags like on Goodreads that it's a gay novel. Either way, it's written by a woman. This is the first book she's ever written. Her other books that are coming out over the next like few years have been nominated for like big awards and stuff, and so a lot of people are really looking forward to this novel to see what the writing's like, because it's a pretty low, like she's pretty open about her pen name being this. She chose Orange Jensen because it sounds like a man, and to be fair, I was really excited to read more horror from gay men or gay characters in very horrible situations. This is about two friends who end up going out into the woods. There's an asteroid and there's parasites that are all around, worms and stuff, and it's about surviving. Okay? It's so written, a gay man written by a woman. I don't even know how to describe it to you. Like, I was taken aback. As soon as he came out, I was like, oh my god, why? Okay, this doesn't seem authentic. What's going on? And I had to do research, and I was like, oh my god, it's written by a woman. That makes so much more sense, because it doesn't seem authentic. And then I'm like, oh my word, that makes so much sense for so many other plot points I don't like. So that's where I'm here. Okay? I gave it a 2. I would not recommend. And then, my friends, is the 20-something books I read in the month of March. Let me know how you guys read in the comments down below. What your guys' least favorite and favorite book of the month are. I'll talk to you all next time. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.